World War I, the war that changed everything. It was supposed to be the war to end all wars. But instead, it became a conflict so devastating that it reshaped the world forever. Over 20 million people lost their lives, empires fell, and the seeds for an even greater war were planted. Today, we'll take you on a journey through the First World War, from its causes to its major battles, life in the trenches, technological advancements, and its lasting impact on the world. Let's begin our story with how it all started. The causes of World War I. World War I wasn't just the result of one assassination. It was decades in the making. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw increasing tensions between the great powers of Europe. Let's break it down. 1.1 The alliance system, the Triple Entente, Britain, France, Russia, was formed to counterbalance Germany's growing influence. The Triple Alliance, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy, sought to protect each other in case of war. These alliances meant that if one country went to war, others would follow. It was like a house of cards, one move and everything could collapse. 1.2 Militarism and the arms race. Britain and Germany were competing for naval dominance. Germany and France were rapidly expanding their armies. Narrator, by 1914, Europe was a powder keg ready to explode at the slightest spark. And that spark came in Sarajevo. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was visiting Sarajevo when he and his wife were assassinated by a Serbian nationalist, Gavrilo Princip. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia. Within weeks, the world was at war. The war begins. 1914. 3.1 Germany's plan. The Schlieffen Plan. Germany's strategy was to quickly defeat France by attacking through Belgium. Belgium resisted, slowing the German advance. Britain declared war on Germany in response. 3.2 The First Battle of the Marne. French and British forces stopped the German advance in September 1914. Both sides dug trenches, marking the beginning of trench warfare. Life in the trenches. Trench warfare was one of the most horrific aspects of World War I. Soldiers lived in the mud, surrounded by disease, and under constant bombardment. Food was scarce and soldiers often ate stale biscuits and canned meat. Trench foot was common, caused by standing in waterlogged trenches. Shell shock, now known as PTSD, affected thousands of troops. Attacks meant climbing out of the trenches and charging into enemy fire. Casualties were often in the tens of thousands for just a few hundred meters of land. The major battles. 5.1 Battle of Verdun, 1916, lasted nearly 10 months. Over 700,000 casualties. The phrase, "they shall not pass," became a symbol of French resistance. 5.2 Battle of the Somme, 1916, first use of tanks in warfare. Over 1 million casualties. British forces suffered 57,000 casualties on the first day alone, the worst in their history. 5.3 Gallipoli Campaign, 1915 to 1916, a failed Allied attempt to capture the Ottoman Empire. Huge losses for Australian and New Zealand troops. Anzacs. The Global War. 6.1 The War in Africa and the Middle East. Battles were fought in German East Africa, Palestine, and Mesopotamia. T. Lawrence of Arabia, led Arab revolts against the Ottomans. 6.2 The War at Sea and in the air. German U-boats sank ships, including the Lusitania, 1915. Air combat became a new form of warfare. The United States enters the war. Germany resumed unrestricted submarine warfare. Zimmerman telegram urged Mexico to attack the U.S. The U.S. declared war in April 1917. The end of the war. 8.1 The 100 Days Offensive, 1918. Allied forces pushed Germany back. November 11, 1918, armistice signed. The Treaty of Versailles. Germany forced to accept blame and pay heavy reparations. New countries, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, created. The seeds of World War II were planted. The legacy of World War I. Over 20 million deaths. Empires collapsed. Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, German. War forever changed military technology and global politics. World War I was more than just a war. It was a turning point in history. It led to the collapse of 4 great empires, the redrawing of national borders, and the rise of political movements that would define the 20th century. But more than anything, it set the stage for an even greater conflict, World War II. How did the Treaty of Versailles help create the conditions for World War II? How did leaders like Hitler, Stalin, Churchill, and Roosevelt emerge from the ashes of the First World War? In our next video, we'll uncover the complete story of World War II, how it started, the major battles, and the ultimate fight for global power. So, if you don't want to miss our deep dive into World War II, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and let us know in the comments what part of World War I you found most interesting. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.